Thank you very much. Cold, old, miserable day in London, but we're inside a commentary box at Wembley Stadium, a rarity these days, I can tell you. Used to be glass-in commentary boxes. White Hart Lane, they had one as well for the radio back in the day, but here we are at Wembley Stadium. Spurs' one and only season here, and they've done well here. Great Champions League experiences, miserable FA Cup semi-final experience. Hugo Lloris is back into their side. They're warming up away to our right-hand side. That's the one change. Trippier's the right back. Sanchez and Vertonghen in the middle. Ben Davies, no Alderweireld out. Frozen out, it would seem. Dyer and Dembele, the holders in midfield. And then Dele Alli, who scored in the semi-final. What a good start they had. Christian Eriksen and Son Heung-min with Harry Kane up front, trying to close down on Mo Salah, who's 5 league goals ahead of him in the chase for the Golden Boot. And Lloris moves towards the centre circle to exchange greetings with the captain of Watford, Adrian Mariappa. They have 2 or 3 changes in their side. In come Kiko and Andre Gray and Richarlison. Karnessis in goal. We think it's going to be a back 5 with Kiko on the right and Alabas on the left hand side. Mariappa, Kabasele and Cathcart in the centre of the defence, and Will Hughes, Kapua and Doucouré with Andre Gray and Richarlison making up their lineup. That's the way we think it's going to be. Richarlison, an exhausted youngster. We've been talking about him. He's played non-stop since January 2017. Andre Gray, his last league start was on the 13th of January. Has he been kept waiting too long, Jermaine, for a place in this starting lineup?
I think the issue is probably with himself more than anything. Has he delivered what was asked of him on his arrival to Watford this year? We know he's kind of got that robust nature to his play. He makes runs, he works hard, but has he delivered in terms of the goals that Watford have needed and Watford have wanted? I'll probably say no. He misses a lot of opportunities, and for that he's suffered, but he gets his opportunity tonight, and what a place to get it.
Watford will kick us off and underway in the yellow and black, kicking from left to right, kicking away from the old tunnel end, if you remember your old Wembley. Now, of course, it looks as if it'll be Wembley under American ownership in the years to come. Football is a changing business. Off we go on 5 Live, with Watford pumping the ball deep into the Spurs half, and rising to head it away was Dyer. Drops away from him. That's the first effort of the game. It's Will Hughes, and it's a bobbly shot that goes wide from Watford's 23-year-old midfielder.
Yeah, an indication of what Watford want to do. They're not coming here to sit in and make life easy for Tottenham. Early long ball for Sanchez to deal with, and knocked down, and a shot from Will Hughes, and from the goal kick they're pressing high, making Lloris kick long.
They haven't scored away from home in 638 minutes. Watford and Tottenham are unbeaten in 12 meetings in all competitions against them since they lost in the League Cup in October 1994. Now here is Watford's centre-back. Mariappa, by the way, has started on the right-hand side of, just looks like a plain back 4, is it, Jermaine?
At the minute, yeah. I mean, we had it as a back 5, but Mariappa seems to have set up on the right-hand side. Cathcart and Kabasele with Holebas in as the back 4, and I think it'll be Kapua and Doucouré sat in that midfield area with Kiko and Richarlison just playing as the wingers, and Will Hughes seems to be playing off Andre Gray. I mean, it's a flexible system. We know that Kiko and Holebas could go into more of a wing-back position if need be, with Mariappa, Cathcart and Kabasele dropping in, but they started 4-4-2.
Dembele in a wrestle with Will Hughes, and the decision of the referee. Michael Oliver goes the way of the blonde-haired Watford midfielder, who's a tenacious little character. A lot of clubs were interested in him, but it was Watford who paid the $8 million to Derby. A lot of clubs watched him over a number of years, but it was Watford who took the plunge and got him. A lot of speculation about Dembele's future with Tottenham Hotspur. He's now in his 30s, and speculation about a possible move to China in the summer. Away Watford look for that left-hand side, and Holebas pushing on, and a gritty challenge with Trippier, the right full-back, over there on that far side, and it's pulled back then to the halfway line, and Watford holding possession and just dictating the pace early on. Cathcart slants the ball away to Mariappa, and he tucks it into the feet there of his teammate Kiko, and it's away for a throw into Tottenham right down below us in front of the new tunnel, and it'll be taken by Mariappa. 0-0, 5 Live from the BBC. Massive week. Tomorrow, Real Madrid, Bayern from the Bernabeu. Wednesday, Roma, Liverpool for you. Champions League semi-final second leg. Thursday, Atletico against Arsenal from the Wanda. In Madrid, in the Europa League semi-final second leg. Here's Harry Kane for Tottenham, his first touch in the game, down that left-hand side, 2 yards in from the touchline. He spins, he lays the ball back, it just deflects away of Kiko Femenia, and it's going to be a throw-in then for Tottenham Hotspur, to be taken by Ben Davies. Steady season for him, the Welsh international. Who'd have thought, though, after last season's spectacular buccaneering fullback displays by Walker and Rose, that they wouldn't be first-choice fullbacks here this season. Here's Son attacking the Watford penalty. Lays the ball square to Kane. He's got one more over on the far side. If he could use him, he didn't. Instead, he got a side-foot, left-foot shot straight at Orestes Karnesis.
Yeah, it was a great run from Kieran Trippier down that right-hand side. If Harry Kane, as it came into him, could have just flicked it out towards Kieran Trippier, was in acres of space, but he actually did well. Shifted it onto his left, looked to get a shot off Harry Kane, but just didn't quite get the contact that it required.
150th Premier League appearance for Harry Kane. 136 goals for Spurs in his 209 games. Their 7th highest scorer, a couple behind George Hunt. Jermaine Defoe is next up that list. He's certainly within striking distance now of Harry Kane. Here's Davinson Sanchez. Angles the ball to Eric Dyer, dropping deep. And Spurs keep possession and now have it with Dembele. Into the centre circle, strokes the ball into the feet of Kane, coming deep. Keane lays it back to Davinson Sanchez. Promising first season in English football for him. On that right hand side, he finds Trippier. Trippier angles to the penalty area and it's headed away again at the back there. Cathcart and Kabasele at the heart of the defence for Watford. Both of them have missed so much football this season. I was mentioning earlier, they've had so many players out for long periods, 10 in all for 2 months or more. It has disrupted Watford's season, that's for sure. Here's Vertonghen to Sanchez. Side foots it away towards Trippier, high on the far side with his orange boots and the lily white of Tottenham Hotspur. Eric Dyer is there as well, and Dembele drops a little bit deeper to give him an angle, takes up possession. Vertonghen, a misplaced pass, but it bounces back to him from Kiko Femenia. That's better, left foot, big switch of play. Trippier on the far side then for Tottenham. Sees the run of Ericsson to the dead ball line, into the penalty area, low flashing cross, and it's steered away in there. Good defending in the end, but Tottenham have a corner kick.
Yeah, they're starting to find their rhythm now, knocking it around. Great diagonal pass from Jan Vertonghen out to Trippier. A little run from Christian Eriksen towards the byline, slipped him in, and he's gone for power for the cutback, didn't quite come off.
Kabasele just got the interception. Crucial it was for Watford, and as this corner kick comes in, he's on the shoulder of Kane Kabasele, but it's aimed towards the Tottenham striker, who heads it into the 6-yard area.
Offside.
And offside anyway. 0-0.
Watford have actually started reasonably well. Going forward, they look like they've got some energy. Going to get some support to Andre Gray, who I thought could have been isolated with the way that I thought they were going to set up, but Will Hughes is around him. Richarlison and Kiko seem to be wanting to make runs off him, but it's that defensive side of the game at the minute where I think they look very strong. Decore and Capoue staying very close to the centre halves, not allowing that space for Son, Eriksen and Dele to work in, that they love to work in on a regular basis.
Gareth Southgate, England coach, is here with Steve Holland, his assistant. A little bit confusing actually, because our commentary position is on the Spurs left back side, but the TV pictures are coming from the far side, where we normally sit on the TV gantry. So it's, well, one of my age, as Mark Chapman would say, actually it's a little bit confusing. Lots of things for someone of my age, a bit confusing to be honest, but
I think it's harsh, JP, to be honest.
Is Dembele's giving it away. Hughes likewise. Now Kane finds Son and away towards that left hand side. Dele Alli, I don't remember the touch from him so far in the game, but that's a poor ball to the edge of the Watford box, and it's just nudged from Mariappa into the centre of midfield and cleared. Centre of the midfield for Watford. Decore and Capoue in there with Will Hughes, we say slightly advanced. Now it's Dele Alli to Son, raiding the right full-back position for Spurs, but they double up on him, that's significant, and bring the ball away. Well, at least they attempt to. Watford, but Decore gave it away. Dyer swaps passes with Eriksen. Now nudges a 10-yard ball to the right hand side. Trippier halfway inside the Watford half, crosses into the middle, and it's away for a corner kick. Kiko Femenia lost his bearings, didn't know where Son was, so safety first, he gets it away for a corner.
Yeah, they're starting to ask questions now, Spurs, making Watford work. It's going to be interesting to see how they stand up to that, because they've started well.
1 point from 10 away league games, Watford, shocking record. Here's Dembele with a cross-head to the 6-yard area, and coming to meet it with the flying header over was Eric Dyer for Spurs, and it just flew over the top of the bar on the far side.
Yeah, it'd have been tough to score from that angle. The pace on the ball was good from Dembele, but he's ran that far past the near post, Eric Dyer, that, trying to flick it towards the far post under pressure from Kabasele was always going to be difficult.
Yeah, for Youth Cup final, second leg is happening tonight in London. Arsenal 0, Chelsea 1. Chelsea managed by Jody Morris, of course. You remember Jody Morris as a competitive midfielder. They lead 4-1 on aggregate, looking to win that competition for the 5th year running. He's
doing brilliantly, Jody Morris. He really is. Year after year, he's pulling out the trophies for that Chelsea youth side.
Here's Son down the line. A little back heel by Dele Alli was very neat. Davis tried to cut it back to Harry Kane, and now Watford will try and bring the ball forward down the right. A lovely chip ball, sends Kiko Femenia away. Covering challenge was by Vertonghen who got across. Spurs fans maybe hoped it would be Alderweireld, but he got in a good challenge there, having been caught out initially. And Spurs have it. Dele Alli to Dyer, and he moves to his right hand side. Dyer slips the pass to him. Dele Alli opens his body up and then swings the ball out along the turf. Beautiful Wembley turf, of course, away to that far side. Spurs steady in possession, 0-0 on 5 Live from the BBC. Here's Dembele for Spurs to the right hand side of the centre circle. Dyer flashes an attempted darting 25-yard crossfield ball. It was headed away though. Comes to Eriksson for Tottenham Hotspur. Watford defending okay at the moment, but you just get a sense that Spurs haven't really even got into third gear yet. Yeah, when they do, they'll be trouble.
Yeah, they need to do better on the ball as well, Watford. Every time Spurs either make a mistake or they get hold of it, they just keep giving it away, and it allows Spurs just to attack and start get a rhythm into their attacks.
It's in Capoue, from a Tottenham man, of course, away towards the right hand side. Just inside the Watford half. Mariappa down the line, and Femenia couldn't keep it in play. Mauricio Pochettino thought it should have been a throw to Spurs. The assistant referee on the near side has given it the other way, Stuart Burr, and it's going to be a throw to Watford, and it will be Mariappa who takes it. Long run in the team for him, started the last 11. Mariappa rejoined the club from Crystal Palace, who seem to be safe now, don't they, with 38 points above Watford on goal difference. What a wonderful job Roy Hodgson's done there with Ray Lewington and Stephen Reed. Miraculous stuff, and it has been breathtaking really to haul them from the position they were in. The worst ever start by any top flight side. Here's Vertonghen for Tottenham Hotspur at a walking pace, 2 yards in for the left hand touchline, Watford's right. And Will Hughes came in, scuttling in with a challenge and blocked his passage down the left. Out of play it goes, throw in. Ben Davis will take it. Ball held over his head now, spins it once or twice, and then hurls it into the Watford half. Eriksson took a touch on, and it's back to the goalkeeper, and Conessus will clear now for Watford. Not great distance on the clearance as a gentleman in front of us stands up, blocks our view. Dele Alli comes into view, into the penalty area. Into the penalty area it goes. Harry Kane couldn't react smartly enough, was unaware it was coming into him, was facing the other way, turned, couldn't bring the ball under control.
Yeah, it just got played behind him by Dele in his defence, so he had to turn, but I still expect his touch to be much sharper than that. He had a chance to kind of get it onto his left side and get a shot off straight away, but I think it bounced off his shin, very unlike Harry Kane.
Approaching the 12-minute mark, 0-0. Top of the table, Man City with 93, Manchester United 77, both confirmed in the Champions League. Liverpool have 72 from 36, Tottenham 68 from 34, and Spurs on the defensive. Here's Richarlison, left hand side of the Spurs box, crosses into the middle. Where was a Troy Deeney when you wanted him? Too high in the middle it was for Gray, but it's kept in by Watford on the left hand side. Another cross will come in, perhaps from Holebas, pushes out to Will Hughes. Spurs with 6 white shirts back around the penalty area. Enough! And they blocked Hughes on that left hand side, crashed it back off him, and it's a throw in to Tottenham Hotspur deep on their defensive territory around about 10 yards from the corner flag on the far side.
The two central midfielders for Tottenham just struggling with their long range passing at the minute. First it was Dyer, and then Dembele guilty of trying to hit wide. The class is an easy ball really out to the full-back and not really connecting with it in the way that they should do, which set Watford off on the attack.
Spurs then 4 points behind Liverpool, 2 points above Chelsea, who've played a game more. They have Liverpool at home, Chelsea at the weekend, then Huddersfield at home and Newcastle away. After this, Spurs have West Brom away, Newcastle at home and Leicester at home. They should have enough games and enough points from those games by the end of the season to have cemented a place in the top four. Champions League football again next season. Who will be there? That's a different matter. It will be back at White Hart Lane. Hughes. Richarlison finding space in the penalty. He slipped as he went to play it into the box, and Eriksson rushes the clearance away. One of his teammates was back there saying, calm down, I think it was Vertonghen, you don't need to get it away so quickly, but he did. And the result, it's at the feet of Karnesis, the Watford goalkeeper.
Watford building in confidence now. There's a couple of occasions they've got him down that left hand side. That was brilliant play from Will Hughes, calm head, just slotted in Richarlison. He should have probably done better, just lost his balance at a vital time.
Watford look for Decore, really hasn't used the ball very well at all. Demanding season for the 23-year-old Frenchman. And he's played 41 games, played 58 of their last 60. He hasn't used the ball, he's been careless in possession. We've seen a close-up of Richarlison breathing and sucking in the air after his demanding season. Away by Vertonghen for Spurs. First time Eriksson takes it in the centre circle. Got away briefly from Capoue. But the touch takes it into the feet then of Christian Kabasele, who started against Palace the other day after 3 months out with a hamstring injury. Cross comes in from Holobas. Kicker for Menia arrived unspotted, couldn't control it, and from inside the Spurs penalty area the ball slipped quickly away from his right foot away for a goal kick. That's a chance.
I'm not sure why he's even trying to take a touch here, Kiko Firmino. It was a beautiful ball from Holobas, picked him out over the head of Ben Davies. He's just got to get a good contact on that and get it back towards goal.
Spurs very quick to take it. They want to keep the momentum up, not let Watford settle at all into a defensive rhythm. Eriksson's cross into the middle, headed away by Kabasele. Centre circle. Gray couldn't hold it up. Needed to do a better job for his club there, really, in his first start since the middle of January. Tottenham have it, 0-0. We've been playing some 15 minutes on 5 line. And it's away then towards Davies. Davies backward of square, 10 yards away to his right was Vertonghen, 10 yards further to his right is the tall upright Dyer, then Trippier playing high on the right hand side, in comes across, Karnesis comes, bumbles in, chance for Tottenham, Dele Alli, 1-0. Mistake by the goalkeeper, fumbled it straight to Eriksson, he rolled it square, and Dele Alli tucked it home from around about the penalty spot. Spurs 1, Watford 0.
It's an absolute gift, it really is. You know, from the goalkeeper coming out, it's an easy one for him to collect. I actually thought the delivery from Kieran Trippier was spot on. He's whipped it in with some pace, don't get me wrong. And you could say from the goalkeeper, and he's, just defending him a little bit, Kabasele jumps right in front of his eye line, I think, as he's about to collect it, but he should be taking that in. Fair play to Eriksson, picks it up, finds Dele Alli, who's got that cool, calm kind of head on him, just to take a touch and pick his spot. I think I've seen another little dance from him as well, so hoping that's not a bad omen.
Yeah, it was. I don't think it was the floss.
It wasn't the floss, it was something new.
Are you
I don't know what it was, don't ask me. I'm old now, apparently.
Do the floss? Do you do the floss at home?
I don't do it. I can do it, I don't do it.
Yeah. I mentioned it in commentary the other day. I got home and my son said to me, do you actually know what the floss is, Dad? And I had to say, no.
Yeah, my kids do it, so, I have to show them how it's done every now and again.
Yeah, they've still got the old moves. Throw to Watford on the far side. Horrible moment that for Karnesis.
Yeah.
He certainly wasn't dancing with delight. And we're watching a close-up here of Aurelio Gomez, the substitute goalkeeper, former Spurs player, of course. The man they used to call the Octopus because of his extraordinary long arms and the saves he used to pull off with those arms in Dutch football. Here's Son. Picked up that Asian Footballer of the Year trophy for the 3rd time running the other day. Dembele, Spurs now, it's almost like a weight's off their shoulders. They're playing with more freedom in their passing, it just seems to me momentarily. And Watford scuttling around. But without Deeney in the starting lineup, there's no heavyweight really to worry the Spurs centre-backs. Here's Davison Sanchez with 5-10 yards of room And Trippier's gone down, I think it is, for Spurs on the far. Just hook clip, didn't he, there?
I think he did, yeah.
He's down on his haunches. And Richard Pochettino turns around to the fourth official. Maybe a little bit of complaint there. Interesting listening to you talk with Chappers early on about Pochettino's remarks after the FA Cup semi-final. Basically a G up then to the directors to, come on, let's get it right together as a team, otherwise, well, maybe I will be off.
Look, I can only imagine that they would have 100% had some form of conversation going into next season about what's available, what's expected and so on, and maybe those talks didn't go so well. Maybe he feels like he needs more than what he's getting, and probably deserves, which he does, more than what he's getting. Who knows? And I think he seems a manager that's very happy and content with the way things are going at the football club. But I've always said the minute that he feels that it's not going forward, it's not going in the right direction that he sees, I think we've seen the stubbornness with him with regards to the players like Alderweireld and Kyle and Danny Rose, for example. It felt like a warning shot to me, to the club, just to say, listen, don't take me for granted. I'm not always going to be here, and it's time now to back me moving forward, and I deserve that.
It's a replay of Trippier. Just got a little flick, little touch from Holebas it was, and he immediately pulled up, and he's coming across. He's had some treatment. They'll continue that treatment on the near side. They may well think of a change, though. Tottenham Hotspur,
I think it'll be alright. Look, they can be sore, those. I think Holebas really just stamps on his toe. He may have a previous issue on his toe as well, where it just makes it even worse. He seems to have changed his boots, so whether it may have slit the boot open, I don't know, but he's changed his boot.
We talk about the future of managers, though. When I was small and listening to Maurice Edelstein on the radio, on the BBC, and great commentators Peter Jones and Brian Butler, around about this stage of the season, they were talking about what transfers would happen in the summer, player transfers. Now there's almost as much, if not bigger, speculation as to which manager will be at which club next season. The manager, the whole mystique of managers has changed so dramatically over the last 10 years. And Tottenham have possession with Trippier moving swiftly on that far side. He's okay. Not moving as swiftly as our producer George, who's told me the alley celebration is called the Fortnite dance.
Is that computer game he's been playing? I think it is, isn't it?
He's a mover, by the way, on that far side.
He's been playing some computer game.
He has, yeah. He's Dembele for Tottenham. Left-hand touchline. Finds Ben Davis. Lovely ball into Dele Alli, coming away from his mark. Ericsson pokes it round the corner. Son keeps the ball alive, and it's slammed over in the end by Eric Dyer. A little bit hasty when he had a player available on the right-hand side, and he could have pushed it out to Trippier. Maybe the wrong decision there, Jermaine.
Sometimes as a midfield player, when the ball kind of bounces up like that and you're 25 yards out, you'd think, I'm going to hit this. It was probably the wrong decision, but sometimes it's not very often the ball kind of bounces and sits in a perfect way for you to hit it. So I don't blame him for taking it on, but he did have the option of Trippier down that right hand side, and we know what he can do when he gets on the ball.
And maybe at the back of his mind was the fact he hasn't scored in a year.
Has he not?
No, since he netted against Watford.
He went for a little spell as well of just scoring quite a few, especially from corners.
Now Watford promising here. Decore stabs it away towards that left hand side. Can they get the crossing from Richarlison? It's deep to the far post, whipped on through. No danger for Spurs. It's going to be a goal kick.
I mean, it's applauded from Will Hughes and Gray, but I mean, they've got three players in the box. One goes near, one goes central, one goes far, and he doesn't manage to find any of them. Richarlison. It's another good position to get themselves in, and it's wasted.
Certainly hasn't looked the player he was at the start of the season, because he's played all those games. Tottenham have possession. Son halfway inside the Watford half, away towards the right hand side. Pushed on by Trippier, right side of the penalty area. Ericsson nudges her away to the fullback, hoiks the cross into the middle, and Kika Femenia just stoops and plants his head on it to get it away. 1-0 to Tottenham Hotspur. Dele Alli got that goal after 15 minutes. It was haphazard goalkeeping by Karnesis, and Tottenham took advantage, and they have possession. It's really been all Spurs, to be honest, on 5 Live tonight. Here's Vertonghen, and back towards Davison Sanchez, and away to Eric Dyer on that far side once again. A few criticisms of him in recent weeks from club and country supporters, actually, for Eric Dyer. But again, He's had a wearying campaign mentally.
He's a funny one, Eric Dyer, because he
He swung that ball brilliantly away to Trippier. Eriksen making the run into the penalty. Back it comes into the middle. It's headed up, but not away by Mariappa. Will Hughes gets a little bit of a scratch clearance on it, no more than that. And Spurs have possession again. Sanchez back inside his own half, and safety first to Lloris. 1-0 Spurs.
Yeah, I think a lot of people with Eric Dyer, they get a little bit frustrated by kind of how slow he plays the game and feel that he could speed it up. Is he mobile enough to play in that position? But he's ever present. He's a player that you can rely on.
Looking for Harry Kane. That's why Jermaine broke off there into the penalty area with a curling ball from left to right. Watford got it away, and they brought it down here with Abdoulaye Doucouré, who's once again squandered possession. Vertonghen in the left full-back role for Spurs, who've now scored, by the way, in each of their last 23 Premier League games. That's their best top-flight run since they scored in 26 in a row 31 years ago. So they certainly have been full of goals this season, as we know. And that's either handball against Son or a foul throw. It's handball against Son as the ball came to him, I think. Yeah, it just bounced up. The referee was right there. Now, I thought he looked jaded at Brighton on the Tuesday and against Manchester United in the Cup semi-final. Son, he's had a fantastic season, but this is his 50th game for Spurs.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of players, played a lot of games, a lot of expectancy, and you're going to hit lows at certain stages. It just seemed to come at the wrong time for Tottenham. I mean, the semi-final and the game against Manchester City was probably as low as I'd seen them in a long time. And when I say the semi-final, I mean that second half, not the first 25 minutes. They were exceptional.
I know a lot of you out there will be saying, well, they used to play a lot of games back in the day, but the game of football in England now at this level is so much more athletic, so much faster than it was back in the day. Less physically demanding in terms of having to take tackles, mind you.
Yeah, this one don't feel very quick today.
No,
I'll be honest with you. Watford they're not bringing much to the table. 1-0 down, they're sticking with their game plan to camp in, make life frustrating, and try and catch Spurs out on the counter attack.
Well, they look safe enough, don't they, on 38 points along with Bournemouth and Crystal Palace on that mark, Watford, and they should be safe. They've got home games to come against Newcastle, then away to Manchester United. They should be safe on 38, but the way things have been going recently in football, you never know. And Watford on the attack here, and it's a good save by Lloris to deny Andre Gray. Tottenham gave away possession all of a sudden, and Watford were at them. One ball into the box, one touch by Gray, it was a shot. Lloris saved the Tottenham goal.
Yeah, it was Eric Dyer who give it away in the central part of the pitch, and we spoke about.
Well, Richarlison tries to keep that in, and he has done, and Spurs all of a sudden have stopped playing. In comes a cross looking for Gray again, and he got between two defenders, couldn't make contact. And Spurs from nowhere have given them two chances.
And I think that's a good chance for Andre Gray as well. Might be slightly just too high for him, which is why he gave up on it. But the first one, I mean, you asked Jonathan at the start of the of the game about Andre Gray and his opportunities in the team, and I think that's exactly why he's probably not had as many as he'd wanted, because he's not clinical enough in front of goal. I'd go as far as to say you can't trust him in front of goal. He gets massive opportunities and often squanders them, but he obviously is a threat physically, he's quick and he's horrible to deal with, but you need your strikers to be finishing chances like that.
9 goals for Burnley last season, 4 for Watford this season. Here's Son, lovely ball spun into the Watford box. It's headed away in there by Christian Kabasele, and it's picked up on the left hand side for Spurs. Still attacking, leading 1-0. Played in by Davis to Moussa Dembele. Son got in front of his man and drags it Spurs way, and just nudges a ball 5 yards away to Eric Dyer. Swings it out to the far side, and Trippier first time volleyed across in that went behind the goal. Just to bear up your thoughts on Andre Gray, 2 goals in 16 now. That's not a good enough return for him.
Without going too far with it, it's shocking. For a Premier League striker to be scoring that many goals when you've been brought in for, what was it, 18 million quid? I mean, that's not the return that you're looking for from your striker. You could give him the benefit of the doubt and say, well, it's his first season at a new club, but he's been in the Premier League, before, he's experienced it at this level. Unfortunately, if things don't change, you can only see him scoring goals down the leagues in the likes of the Championship.
Spurs leading 1-0. Son trying to knock it beyond his defender, and he gets beyond Cathcart. He dug in very, very deep. Now this is a man who's only started 2 games in a row after 7 months out, but he proved his fitness there, got the wrong side initially, dug in deep, got back and scrambled it away.
He really did. He kind of got these nudges that you try and get with your hands just to kind of give you an extra yard. Son was almost by him at one point. He just gave him a little nudge on his arm to slow him down, and there's a nudge on his chest, and it did brilliantly in the end, as you said, Jonathan, just to get himself right side of Son.
He's such an expressive player, Son. Wears his heart on his sleeve. Looked anguished there as he couldn't get in it, but when he scores, when he has a sweet moment, he has a smile that can light up a stadium, that's for sure. A very affable chap, really approachable. Dembele back to Davinson Sanchez, and Dembele has it once again, cruising over the halfway line, nudges the ball in then to Eriksen, and it's sent rolling from right to left by Eric Dyer to Vertonghen. Seifert's the pass into Eriksen, who again just prods it back to Vertonghen. This is 2 or 3 yards in from the left-hand touchline, equidistant in the Watford half. Spurs leading 1-0. 5 live from the BBC. Huge week of football for you. Let me remind you, Real Madrid Bayern tomorrow for you is live from the Bernabeu. Ian Dennis and Chris Waddle. Wednesday, Roma Liverpool. Kelly Cates and her team. John Murray and Laura were there. And Spurs on the attack will break off, and they've got a free kick. Have they here? No. A fair challenge it was on Son on that far side. It was Richarlison who covered back in there.
He did really well, actually, because Son had made a fantastic run in behind him, and he tracked him all the way and put in a good challenge to stop him.
Spurs have it between the penalty box and the far right-hand touchline. Eriksen to Dembele, who was 5 yards behind him. Dembele, fine ball to Trippier, down by the far corner flag. Picks out Son. Son goes down under a challenge that the referee deems fair. And I think it was Decore, was it? Or it might have been Cabaselli. It was Cabaselli who just says to him, get up. He didn't like the fact that he went down so easily.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see that one again. I do. There's a part of me that does think it's soft. I've seen them given because it was quite clumsy from Cabaselli, but he did run into the back of him.
That's offside against Andre Gray. Didn't read the situation particularly well there, needed to look along the line as he made the run. Spurs have a free kick, they lead 1-0. Dembele picks out Dele Alli, breaking to the left hand side. Kicker for Meunier there with him. Once again they're doubling up in the right full back position, Watford.
It's clumsy. There's no need for Decore to even lean into him in the way that he has. I think Son's going for the ball, he's been knocked off balance. I think it's the right decision for Michael Oliver, I have to say. Look, it's if I was Decore, I'd be very disappointed if you're giving away penalties for challenges like that.
Here's Eriksen for Tottenham Hotspur, allowed to turn into space and get the shot away from Watson, 25 yards out. Was always veering wide, but dangerous defending by Watford to give him that much room.
Yeah, it's always dangerous to give Christian Eriksen any type of space from 20 to 25 yards out. I know the talent that he possesses, and you're screaming at him to hit this one because he's got all kinds of different techniques to strike the ball.
5 in his last 8 for Spurs, 15 this season for Christian Eriksen. There were those rumours the other day, just ahead of the FA Cup semi-final. Apparently he's asked his agent to, well, so the rumours have it, to maybe find him a bigger club. I don't know whether those rumours are true, but again, it's unsettling.
Yeah, it is unsettling, and I personally look at Christian Eriksen as a player that could walk into any dressing room in Europe, and I mean, he can go and play for Real Madrid, Barcelona quite easily. I think he's that good. So the club are going to have to do some stuff to make these players happy.
So on to Kane, who turns 20 yards out, trying to find the run inside the penalty area by Dele Alli. The Spurs fan in front of us richly applaud the intent, but the execution a little bit too near the goalkeeper. Now Cathcart pressurised by Son just outside his own penalty area, slips it down the line to Will Hughes, protected the ball well initially. Ben Davies got a touch on it, then it's just looped down the inside right channel by Mariappa. Spurs have it back again. They lead 1-0. The goal scorer was Dele Alli on a quarter of an hour, and you listen to 5 Live from the BBC. Also should mention the Friday Football Social this week, Friday night. You're with Pletch again. Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank, I think, is with you on Friday. Now here's Trippier on the right hand side. In comes the cross, and off Mariappa, a little chest pass back to the goalkeeper. Is that right? JFH is with you on Friday?
Yeah, I think he is actually. Also, Fletcher's with me, JP. It's not the other way around.
Oh, that's right. Actually,
come on,
it says
get it
here,
right.
as it says here, JJ brackets star of the show.
There we go.
And Darren Fletcher.
I thought so.
Some sort of stand-in, it says here in brackets.
Spot on.
Cleared away by Sanchez for Tottenham Hotspur. What do you make of his first season in English football?
Brilliant. Absolutely love him. I think he's gone beyond what I thought. In terms of even games and the number of games he was going to be playing, it really did shock me.
Dele Alli was well won by Sanchez, but Dele Alli was unaware there. Cover was arriving very quickly for Watford. Holebas got it back, giving it away against another poor ball by Decore. They got away with it, Watford. They have a throw in on the far side from us.
Yeah, just to finish on Sanchez, I think he's a centre-half that anybody in the league would love. He's almost he's like the Vidic, I suppose, if Vertonghen is the Ferdinand. He's that one who kind of throws himself in front of everything. He's quick, he heads everything. He's getting better on the ball. I think it's the side of his game he does need to improve on. I think a big part of his development has been the performance of Jan Vertonghen this year. I think he's really been one of Spurs' best players, and it's just settled Sanchez into his position.
33 minutes gone, Spurs leading by a goal to 0. From Chappers at half-time. Chappers, who clearly didn't fancy the cold of London today.
He just gets like that every now and again. Just superstar, isn't he?
Thinks he's in the warm of a studio. We're belting hot in here, actually. It's too hot in this glass.
I started with a coat, I've got a t-shirt on.
We've got a heater on in here. George is dancing a Paso Doble with our sound man. He's into his dancing, so he can't turn it down. Anyway, Spurs have possession on the right-hand side. Look it up, George. Paso Doble. It's a dance from my era. Anyway, here's Vertonghen. Send a circle. Back it goes then to Davison Sanchez. And all the way to his goalkeeper. And Hugo Lloris, who hasn't been unoccupied. He had that one save to make, and he did okay. Big question from Spurs fans who are friends of mine. Why did he not play in the semi-final?
I don't think it was the wrong decision from Maurizio. I know a lot of people say, well, he's the captain, he should be out there and so on, but I don't think his form has warranted the manager to actually go, well, this is the semi-final and this is where you come in. I know that Michel Vorm had played every single FA Cup game apart from, I think, the one that he was injured in, but Hugo Lloris for me has had an average season by his standards. He's much better than what I think he's shown the Tottenham fans, and I think if you asked him himself, he'd admit to that. Too many mistakes.
Here comes a high cross from Capoue against his old side. Into the Tottenham box it goes from that free kick. Sanchez got an initial head onto it. It's away now. Decore, pressurised by Dembele, has looped it away to that far side of the penalty area, the Tottenham right. And Richarlison taking on Trippier over there, who stood him up. Richarlison spins away from him. Good quick feet, and Trippier got back. Got it away. Watford have possession though. This is their most sustained possession in the penalty. Decore into the box. Fed by Will Hughes. Can't clear his feet. Can't get the shot away. Does! And it's straight at Hugo Lloris, who took it well.
Oh, it was brilliant play down that left-hand side. First Richarlison with the quick feet, nutmegging Kieran Trippier. And when it comes to Will Hughes, he's always got a picture in his head. Will Hughes, a nice little one-touch pass on all the time. It comes into him, flicks it into the path of Richarlison, who could have done better, but eventually Lloris gets a save on it.
Two important saves from Hugo Lloris in the game. It was a good interchange. He looked as if he was bumbling on the ball initially, Decore, but he got the shot away, and the keeper saved. 1-0 Spurs then. Dele Alli with the goal, but they've had one or two anxious moments here. Watford, they want to hit that 40-point mark. They're 2 points shy of it at the moment.
It was really good from Will Hughes.
Tottenham look for Eriksson, right hand corner of the penalty area, brought it down, needs support. It's one back and one strongly in there by Christian Kabasele. Watford boosted by his return with so many players added. Jared Delafeu, by the way, is on the bench for Watford today. He's been out since February with a foot injury. Spurs on the attack. Kane inside right position, spins, plays the ball out to the right side. Trippier gets a cross in, and it's difficult for the Watford defence, and in the end was it Mariappa who just chested it away for a corner kick for Spurs.
I don't know what more you want from from your fullback in terms of delivery into the box. He's been brilliant in this first half, Kieran Trippier, down that right hand side, feeding balls into Eriksson with deliveries like that. Son was just looking at him kind of saying, could you not have pulled it back? But get in the box. Just whipped it over the first man's head on a plate. Go and head it.
Corner kick for Spurs that Ben Davies will take. 8 minutes before the half-time whistle blows, and it's dropped to Vertonghen. He got a shot away, couldn't get a header away, then it dropped as he fell backwards and his shot lacked any sort of power. Watford clear, and it's back in the hands of, or back at the feet of Hugo Lloris in that FA Youth Cup final, second leg. Arsenal 0, Chelsea 1. Chelsea still lead 4-1 on aggregate. Did you play the Youth Cup for Forest?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, we had we got to the quarterfinals, I think, against Arsenal, who had a phenomenal team at the time and beat us. What
sort of percentage of players went on from your youth team to play in the first team?
We had quite a few actually.
Here's Son looking for Kane, dispossessed by Capoue and fouled him. It's a free kick for Watford.
Yeah, my team had people like myself, Andy Reid, Michael Dawson, David Prutton. I think that was about it, but we had quite a good youth side, good youth setup actually. But we kicked. I mean, I think our first round was Man United away, second round was Liverpool away, and then we got Arsenal, who went on to win it in the quarterfinals. It was just like it was one of those games. We beat them, we go through.
That's the big concern about Chelsea's youngsters. And how many of those 11 playing tonight will go on and make it at Chelsea?
Well, I was in the Championship, and Nottingham Forest couldn't afford. We were their kind of saving grace. The amount of money they earned out of us coming through the system was exactly what was required.
He had some talent, Andy Reid, didn't he?
Yeah, he did, really did. Got a bit now playing the guitar as well, actually.
Really?
Yeah, not bad. He likes his music.
So he was on the guitar, you were dancing. I'm trying to build a picture of the dressing room.
you nailed it, actually.
Little flick on by Dele Alli in the centre circle. It's headed by Mariappa now for Watford, who have it on the right-hand side. Kicker for Mania, playing right side midfield. Mariappa's made the run beyond. He's actually way offside at the moment. And Spurs get it back. Watford haven't used the ball well. Neither did Moussa Dembele there at all. Holebas spins it outside of his left foot, trying to find Mariappa down the right-hand side. Poor clearance away by Davis. Muddled passage of play, and as it drops here for Spurs, they had a chance of playing out wide to the right. Dele Alli was in space to tweak through the middle back to Watford.
That's one of the most frustrating 10 seconds of football I think I've seen all season. Just each team just giving up possession when there's easy passes on, and then it eventually falls to Son, who's kind of in the middle of the park. He's got an easy ball out to Dele Alli, who's almost in on goal, and he ended up shanking it towards the goalkeeper.
Davis has it for Spurs, 5 yards inside this right-hand touchline as Watford will see it. Spurs left. It's away then by Dembele to the right touchline as they switch it with a couple of passes. They lead 1-0. Dele Alli got the goal on 5 Live, and it will be enough to take Spurs again well clear of Chelsea. The gap on them tonight would extend to 5 points again in the chase for top 4 places. Champions League football, more nights of Real Madrid here perhaps next season, or a Borussia Dortmund again here next season. Here's Davis down the left-hand touchline. Son rolled it infield, but it's picked up by Watford, who have it back with Decore, tight into Will Hughes. Good use of the ball in a tight space there. Now Mariappa to Decore again. Little triangles from Watford developing around the pitch. Hughes breaks clear of Ben Davis, and he angles his run to the left-hand side, and he pushes it out towards Richarlison. Takes a step inside his man, but Trippier recovered the ground, stabbed out a foot and blocked the shot. Here come Watford again though with a left full-back. Holebas is crossing to the middle, looking for the run of Richarlison. It was well read by Vertonghen, who clears it away. Spurs still lead by a 1-0, but Watford have just stepped it up a little bit, Jermaine.
Yeah, Will Hughes has been their standout player by an absolute mile. He really has. Calm on the ball, progressive, breaking through the lines that time, feeding Richarlison on that left-hand side. I thought he needed to do a bit more. He just shifted it onto his right and had a shot, made life easy for Kieran Trippier to defend. But the more they get the ball into Will Hughes at the minute, he's that calm head. He's the one who's having the ability to find a teammate, make something happen. The rest of them, I mean, Decore in midfield, I don't think he's found a pass yet. It's like hot potato in there, but he's standing out like a sore thumb at the minute. Will Hughes really is.
His progress was hampered by the bad knee injury, kept him out for a whole of 15-16, cruciate knee ligament injury. Before that, a lot of the real top teams were looking at the England under-21 player, who has possession for Watford on that far side from us, down by the corner flag. He's pushed tight to the line though and just slips it out to give Tottenham a throw-in, but in a very defensive position, no more than 3 or 4 yards from their own dead ball line. Kieran Trippier will take, what a season he's had, by the way, for Tottenham. Could be England's, you never know, first choice right back in Russia. I think it will be Kyle Walker, but
I don't.
You do or not?
I think Walker might play within the back three, which will leave the right wing back position up to Kieran Trippier.
That's the way he's been sort of leading us to believe the team would be, isn't it, Gareth?
I like it. I really like it. I think we get the best of both worlds there. If Walks wants to bomb on like he does, with his pace every now and again, and Kieran takes that position, then we use his pace. If not, we use the quality which we've seen from Kieran Trippier tonight. The deliveries that he puts into the box are always on the money. Even tonight's game, he's the player that Spurs always go to. Him and Eriksen are the two that unlock the door.
Here's Dembele. Not a good ball from him, and his use of the ball in recent weeks hasn't been good. Bray for Watford, away towards Richarlison, bearing down on the Tottenham penalty area. They lead 1-0. It's a splendid save by Lloris, who had to move to his left-hand side to spring the save away to safety. Real danger there as Watford countered swiftly from the Spurs error. Now it's Tottenham on the counter-attack. Trippier infield to Son, plumb dead centre. Wrong choice of ball to Harry Kane, and Watford clear it away once again through Kabasele. Hughes is spun away in the midfield from Dele Alli. He slipped it through to Corey. Lloris is way outside his penalty area. Meets it with a challenge. He had to win it fair and square, and he went to ground and he won it fair and square. If he'd mistimed that, he would have been off. It's a throw to Watford on the far side. Absolutely bizarre.
Wow. Spurs absolutely all over the place at the minute. I think the Corey has to do better. I really do. The play from Will Hughes wins the ball off Dele Alli on the halfway line. The Corey sets off. He slips him in and he's waiting. And Lloris comes out, slides, does enough. He gets enough on the ball for obviously the decision not to have to be made, but he should have been quicker to Corey. I think he's actually waiting for Lloris as well.
He was 28 yards out of his goal there when he made the sliding challenge to the goalkeeper.
Yeah, he's in no man's land.
In comes the throw, edged away by Dembele, knocked back into the Spurs penalty area by Mariappa, for a side that has such a miserable away record in 2018 and hasn't scored for so long now away from home. Watford are doing okay at the moment.
Well, it's two chances created from two mistakes from the two central midfield players for Tottenham. Dembele and Dyer not been at the races at all today. Dembele this time guilty, giving away a simple ball in midfield, and it's one pass and they're in on goal. It was Dyer probably about 20 minutes ago doing the same thing for the chance for Andre Gray. It's not good enough. It's not. They're not controlling the game as well as they usually do in those midfield areas. They need to wake up.
And they've taken another chance at the back there, Spurs. They got away with it as Vertonghen just squeezed the ball away towards Ben Davies, tumbling backwards as he did. We're into 1 minute of stoppage time now at Wembley Stadium on a wet old cold day in London. The rain has been driving in, the wind has been November type. Chappers wouldn't know anything about it at the moment. He's having toasted muffins in a studio in Manchester, I believe.
All day. Probably getting his beard groomed at the same time.
Probably is, the nails done and things like that. Perfumed locks.
He's changed.
Chapman.
He's changed. Like that one,
changed. Here's Ben Davies on the left-hand side. Hughes is there. Hughes gets a 20-yard clearance away to the head of Eric Dyer. A little touch off by Kane, looking for Eriksen just outside the D. 1-0 to Spurs on 5 line. The closer than they thought it would be, certainly, and these Spurs fans. Here's Dyer. Saw the run of Dele Alli, couldn't take it first time though. Swung his right boot at it and just lobbed away from his boot into the hands of the goalkeeper. That's the last action of the first half. Decent move, it ends 1-0 to Spurs.
It was, and it was Dyer's best pass of the game. That run that Dele likes to make from deep. He's found him with a lovely flighted ball. I'm surprised he didn't throw his head at that and dive, because he knew the more it dropped, the more opportunity it gave to, I think it was Mariappa, who on the cover to make the challenge. But been a weird first half, to be honest with you, JP. I'd say probably the side that deserves to go in 1-0 are, but Watford shown some, that they've got a bit themselves as well.
1-0 it is from Wembley Stadium in London. We've just kicked off. Tottenham in the lily white shirts, kicking from left to right, then away from the old tunnel end, and Watford in the yellow shirts, defending the goal away to our right hand side. Not a full house at Wembley Stadium. Very quiet around the stadium when we arrived earlier on. You wouldn't have thought anything was going on here, really.
It's been a weird evening. Just like you said, there's not many people around, a tense atmosphere. It's one of those games where, as a player, you just want to get the job done and get out of here with the 3 points, because it's not, I wouldn't say it's going to plan. The goal that they got, Spurs, was gifted to them by Watford. I think Watford have given a reasonable account of themselves, but obviously created two massive opportunities and they'll be hoping that they can stick one of those away if they get another one.
Gray should have scored for them. Richarlison brought a good save out of the goalkeeper, and Spurs lead with that Dele Alli goal after 15 minutes, after Orestes Karnesis had patted down across straight to Eriksen. He slotted it square and Dele Alli put it in, and Mauricio Pochettino is just prowling that technical area down below us with his arms across his chest in the blue training kit top, and padded against the cold. It's been a wretched day in London, the southeast. Spurs have it with Vertonghen out wide towards the left-hand touchline. Good work down that left by Ben Davies to get that high. Now Eriksen tried to float the ball to the edge of the penalty area. Doucouré blocked it. He's done that well enough, Doucouré, but his use of the ball for Watford has been terrible. Here's Davison Sanchez. Lots of time inside the Spurs half. To the halfway line, Dembele to his left finds Dyer, takes it back again. Spurs two-touch football, very Pochettino-esque, and keeping the ball moving. Eriksen to the left-hand side. Watford have hardly had a touch of the ball in this second half, but they created enough in the first to suggest they're not out of this game. Eriksen with a big cross-field switch finds Trippier. Richarlison had switched off. Trippier's crossed into the box, not a good one, headed away in there initially. Back it comes then for Dyer. That's a swinging cross through the ball, and again a Spurs central midfield player has not made best use of possession, and that's been a feature of the game. And Vertonghen just fly-hacked it back towards his own halfway line with Dyer mocked up to Dembele. Dembele squeezes a pass up to Eriksen. That's better. Round the corner to Dele Alli. Outside of the foot, Son making run into the Watford penalty area. Square it goes. Harry Kane, he slipped. Still comes through to Trippier. Back into the middle. Kane doesn't slip this time. It's 2-0. That's the mark of a born scorer. He missed the first chance because he slipped, but he knew instinctively there would be a second chance moments later, and he put it away 2-0.
Well, there's two celebrations going off on the pitch at the minute. There's three at the back here with Jan Vertonghen, Dembele and Sanchez, because they know how important they were to that goal. They were on it, they cleaned it up. Dembele with a lovely ball into Dele Alli, and once he gets on it, this pass is sensational. It really is, with the outside of his boot. The run from Son is great, and when he squares it to Harry Kane, you think chance is gone. It was behind Harry Kane in his fairness, but Kieran Trippier, trusty down this right hand side again, picks out his man, and Harry Kane was never going to miss that.
He slipped when it first came in, but when he picked himself up, he made sure he planted his feet into the turf, and he was there on hand to push it in for 38 goals this season in all competitions, 27 in the league, 4 now behind Mo Salah in the chase for the Golden Boot, and he scored in 12 of Tottenham's 19 games in the last 19. So he has his critics. I don't know why. What more can he do? As you were saying, it's 137 goals now for Spurs. Sensational stuff.
Yeah, and you know, this is the type of side Watford that have shown in the past, especially these past few weeks, that, you know, a couple of goals, heads will go down, and they could possibly, you know, go under as a side, and he'll be looking to get a second and a third maybe, because that's just what they do. And they've started much better in the second half as well, Tottenham, and that second goal will settle them down, because I thought Watford were a dangerous side in that first half.
He's moved to within 1 goal of George Hunt, who's 6th highest scorer in Spurs history. He now has, as I said, 137, 6 behind Jermaine Defoe. His best season, 38 goals, and with his assists, the talismanic Spurs line leader scores their second of the night. And they have a throw, and it'll be interesting to see how Watford, suddenly at 2-0 down, thinking they're safe, all but mathematically I think they are, how they now respond on 5 Live. You're listening to the BBC, of course, and it's Spurs very much in control, and they will go 5 points clear of 5th place Chelsea tonight, with an away trip to West Bromwich Albion, now a tricky fixture given the work done there in recent weeks by Darren Moore, and then at home to Newcastle and Leicester City. Should be enough for them, really. Newcastle and Leicester with one eye on the sandcastles. Little chip ball by Eric Dyer away to the right hand side. Kieran Trippier into the box, and it's away through to a goal kick. Do people do sandcastles anymore? I'm not too sure they do. They sit playing PlayStation on a beach, don't they? Probably.
I hope not.
It's going to be my advice. We're talking about parenting there at half time. I was very interested. Listen, I would just say enjoy every second of it, because they're 17 and 16 and 15. Just enjoy Every second of it. Anyway, Spurs have Dyer on the halfway line. It's headed away by the Watford defender, Cavaselli, just getting back to fitness, of course. Done all right today, Cavaselli, but it's given away in midfield by Capo. He and Decore, Dyer and Dembele have given the ball away so much for central midfield players. And Holebas has just squirted a reverse ball straight to the feet of Dembele, who crosses the halfway line. Spurs sweeping forward from left to right now. Ball's at the feet of Dele Alli, picks the pass to Son in the penalty area. Spins, can't clear his feet. He's got Dyer to the right hand side. Dyer, can he flash in a low cross? He can, but it's plucked to safety by Karnazes.
Tell you what, Dele Alli is producing some passes though. You know, there's a lot of players out there that are finding to find their own shirts, but he's produced 2 passes in this second half that have been the passes of the night, and they've both been to Son, who's making good runs for him. When it works its way out wide, eventually he makes a good run to the near post, Dele, but I think it was Eric Dyer trying to find him at the near post, just couldn't find him.
Spurs so badly needed a win here tonight. They're on the way to it. Eric Dyer away then from Capu, hasn't really put in a decent shift. Just a lovely touch by Harry Kane, playing back to the edge of the penalty area. Watford can't scramble it away. Dele Alli loops it over the goalkeeper. The whistle already got. Actually, Dele Alli's finished from an impossible angle there with the loop, but he's way beyond the whistle going for the foul on the edge of the penalty area. Capu's been disappointed, hasn't he, against his old team?
Look, they're both in midfield. They're both combative type midfielders, and I think in the early exchanges they made life difficult for Tottenham. I'm surprised that Watford are now not looking at maybe changing the system a little bit to give them an option a little bit higher up. They've got the quality out there, they just don't seem to have the belief or the direction really to go, come on then, let's just go and have a go. We're 2-0 down. They're kind of playing the same way, which was okay at 2-0, but they need 2 goals now, so I expected them to come out a bit more.
Missing players, of course. Pereira out injured tonight. Cleverley's been out since January. Troy Deeney's only fit enough for the bench. Delafeo's just back on the bench today for the first time in since mid-February when he broke his foot. Kabul's been out long term. Also, Chalobah's back in training after his cruciate knee ligament injury back in September, but they have been dogged by injuries throughout the campaign. Watford, that's for certainty. And we know with Watford there'll be plenty of comings and goings in the summer. They are a club that turns over a great deal of players. It's their business model. Spurs have it deep inside their own half. Davinson Sanchez to Dyer, who just passes out to the right side. Trippier gives it back to him, and then he changes play. Dyer with a swinging ball. Didn't think it was going to make its mark, but it did. Davis to Ericsson, then back to the halfway line again it comes. Vertonghen looks right. Davinson Sanchez ambles forward. Spurs playing at their pace. They're dictating the game. Here's Trippier down the right, low cross in the look of Harry Kane, and it's a goal kick. Harry Kane got across his man. As the referee, it's offside. It's offside against Harry Kane, Mark.
Yeah, I thought he overruled him as well in the end, but everything that's good that's coming through Spurs at the minute is coming down this right hand side with Kieran Trippier. Dele's playing reasonably well today. Not sure where the offside was, to be honest with you. Offside. It definitely wasn't offside, and I think he's got that one wrong.
He came across his man. He couldn't have been offside. I thought the contention was whether it went off the defender or Harry Kane's knee. Anyway, offside was given. That's what it was.
Yeah, he signalled for offside.
Yeah. Strange one, wasn't it? Going to be a throw to Tottenham down below us then, on the halfway line, right side, and peering through the murky night is the Watford manager, who knows he needs a big strong end of the season, having Glacier took over in January, of course. He's had just the 3 wins. They haven't scored an away goal since he became manager after the controversial end to Silva's reign. Where will he pop up again, you wonder? Now here's Holebas for Watford, spun and found Eric Dyer. That's a better pass from him away towards the left hand side, 20-30 yards away. Davis into the box, Ericsson. Tottenham finding their passes now. Dyer arrived, his shot was blocked by Cathcart on the edge of the penalty area, and Richarlison's taken down by Trippier. Free kick to Watford, just around about halfway inside their own half, away on the left hand touchline.
Yeah, good bit of play from Spurs there. ended up with a shot from Eric Dyer. Nothing much really apart from that happening. How long's gone? What we got? 55 minutes. We must be due another chapter's bashing at some stage. What do you think he's up to? I bet he's got like a 3-course meal in that studio or something, just getting looked after as usual.
Yeah, it would be mange tout. Now here's Dele Alli. Oh, free kick against Harry Kane, who I thought held it up. Just turned it back into the path of Dele Alli, but the referee has said he turned his man.
Yeah, it seemed a little bit too kind for me. Unless when you're down there, sometimes Michael Oliver, he's got a better view, obviously, of what Harry Kane was up to, but he's not done anything there. He's really not. Kabasele actually reacted in a way that, like, he lost the ball. I think he knew that he was in trouble.
Well, if he gave the decision for Harry Kane for turning his man, holding on to him, he could have equally given it the other way, and Harry Kane was making that point to the referee, saying he was holding me, I didn't touch him. Is Kabasele. Alabas to Hughes, who deflects it off Dyer on the left-hand touchline. Watford have a throw in. And they will, I think, be safe in the Premier League next season. But then I remember Palace one year hit 40 a point, maybe even more than 40 points. They played Ipswich at home on a Saturday, and they won, and they celebrated survival. And Liverpool still had 3 games to play. And they won all 3, not Liverpool, Oldham had 3 games to play, including Liverpool at home. They won all 3, and Palace went down. So, strange things can happen.
There's some strange things happening in this game. I'm not sure what the officials are doing at the minute. There's 3 decisions they've just given against Tottenham, which made no sense whatsoever. Dele Alli, another one going by Capoue, blatant foul, referee not giving it.
Game's opening up a little bit. Capoue has won that really strongly against Dele Alli. Now Hughes to the right touchline. Kicker for Menia. Rolling inside. Keeping it under control outside of his right boot. Then he finds Decore. Much better pass. Raked it along the turf to Richarlison, who can't get away from Trippier. So he's forced to the left-hand touchline. Wheels his foot over the ball. Orange boots, the Brazilian. Back it comes then to Holebas, German-born, Greek international. In it goes from him to little Femenia. Wriggling, turning, spinning. Gets it into the feet of Holebas. Lays it off to Decore with his white boots. And he squirts a crossfield ball away then to Adrian Mariappa, arriving on the right side. Into the feet of Capoue. Now Will Hughes takes that. Very good first half for Watford he had. 5 live from the BBC. Tottenham leading by 2-0. Hughes again links up. Tries to wrestle the ball away from Eriksson, who was pressurising him well. And Watford forced back towards the halfway line. Capoue, good pressure on him by Dele Alli. Really good pressure. Nice little tussle between the two of them over there, and in the end Dele got a bit frustrated and left his foot in, and Capoue won the free kick for Watford. Far side from us, the free kick won by the former Tottenham Hotspur player. Watford trail by 2-0. Don't forget tomorrow on 5 Live Sport, Real Madrid against Bayern from the Bernabeu. Seeing Darren Moore, the West Bromwich Albion first team coach, in the crowd. They play Spurs up next. What a good start he's had to his managerial career. It's Richarlison, he's get beyond Trippier here, into the edge of the penalty area, square ball, and it's lifted away by Vertonghen. But Richarlison just danced beyond Trippier there. That's the most potent run we've seen from him so far. Holebas with a cross is blocked by Eric Dyer, a little bit more rudimentary. Now we're in the 59th minute, and you're hearing applause from around Wembley Stadium. This is for Steve Potts, who is a Spurs fan who suddenly passed away last Sunday, and the Spurs fans making their heartfelt thoughts for Stevie Potts. Big Tottenham fan he was. And Spurs have possession. Away towards Vertonghen. And maybe they're thinking of a change down there, look, Jermaine, the Spurs management.
Wanyama looks like he's going to be coming on. No surprise there. To liven up that midfield a little bit. I think they've been better in this second half. Dyer and Dembele definitely been a lot better, but it's not a surprise to me that he's going to start to make some changes now.
Well, I went to see Brighton play Spurs the other day, doing homework, you understand, Jermaine. They weren't very good at the heart of midfield, Wanyama and Sissoko that night. Here's Dele Alli, who's done brilliantly, spinning like a top, through 2 challenges, left-hand side, gets away. The referee pulls it back for the first foul and denies Spurs the advantage they quite clearly gained.
The ref's had a nightmare. He's not having his best night. I'm a big fan of Michael Oliver, really am. I think he's a top referee, but he's missing a few big ones. I wouldn't say big ones actually, but it's a few little niggly ones really tonight, and that was another one. Spurs on the attack, and he's rode 2 or 3 challenges to have an opportunity at goal, and it happens with referees every now and again. Just blow the whistle a little bit too early. I'm sure he apologised.
An honest error by him, but a frustrating one for Dele Alli because it was a moment of brilliance for him. Now Moussa Dembele's down, just unlacing his left boot as the Spurs physio comes on. That gives us time to tell you about those European Champions League semi-final second legs we have for Real Madrid 2-1 up against Bayern. Very poor first leg it was though, wasn't it? Ian Dennis and Chris Waddle out in Madrid. That's live for you tomorrow. Then on air at 6:30 on Wednesday, the Stadio Olimpico, Roma against Liverpool. Kelly Cates in the chair with Johnny Murray and Mark Lawrenson out there. Thursday, Conor McNamara and Chris Sutton at the Wanda in Madrid for Atletico against Arsenal. 1-1, but if Arsenal missed that chance, playing against 10 men for most of the game in the first leg. And on Friday, the Friday Football Social, JJ and Darren Fletcher sitting down with Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank. And I can tell you, Chelsea are about to win a 5th successive FA Youth Cup under Jody Morris. They're 3-0 up at Arsenal in the second leg. That's 6-1 on aggregate. He's done staggeringly well, Jody Morris. Here comes Tottenham's substitution, and it is, as you say, Vincent Wanyama coming on to replace Moussa Dembele. When he comes, in a special moment, Wanyama in the week, he met the winner of the London Marathon, Eliud Kipchoge. He went to Hotspur Way on Tuesday, both of them Kenyans, and Wanyama, national captain of course with 50 caps, is a hero there. Troy Deeney's coming on for Watford, and also Jared Deulofeu is coming on. Kiko Femenia is just departing down there below us. And an important moment for Deulofeu, who's on loan from Barcelona, hasn't played since breaking his foot on the 24th of February, and the other man going off is Andre Gray, who hasn't had a great night really. Ericsson with the resulting free kick, looking for Dyer, who's in there. Deeney's first touch is a defensive header, and then that's Wanyama's first touch is to bring down a Watford player on the counter, and gets a yellow card before he's even touched the ball.
Oh my word, I'm not sure what Michael Oliver's seen here. I'm really not. I mean, Wanyama's kind of standing his ground. I think it's Richarlison who seems to... He's gone to kind of flick the ball, but very high, and almost ran his studs down Wanyama's leg, and ended up with a yellow card, Wanyama, out of that. I'm having another look at it now. Ball breaks, edge of the box, Wanyama just stands his ground. I mean, how that is a yellow card, I haven't got a clue. I really haven't. He's done nothing wrong at all. He's actually nearly took some studs to the stomach, Wanyama, and ended up getting booked for it.
It was almost a red card offence by Richarlison.
Exactly. I mean, he's showing Michael Oliver his quad. He's going, have a look. I mean, how can you book me for this? That is an absolute shocker. He's having a nightmare tonight, actually, Michael Oliver. Still a fan, but he's having a nightmare.
Dyer for Spurs, who lead 2-0. Dele Alli and Kane with the goals. We've been playing 64 minutes. Wanyama slots it away to Dyer in a right full-back position, back to Wanyama. Dele Alli came from an offside position. He stumped it away in frustration. May well get a yellow card for that, Dele Alli.
I'd be surprised if he don't. I think everyone's getting a little bit frustrated with the officials, but he was wrong on that occasion. I think Dele was in an offside position. It was a shame because it was well worked. A couple of great touches from Wanyama, and if he is onside, his next ball is to Son, and he's in on goal. But the frustration's definitely growing on the pitch and off the pitch.
Well, it was a yellow card offence, kicking the ball away, and I would suggest that Michael Oliver realised he's made a mistake in the earlier one.
Even still, he should be booked for that.
Yeah,
you know, so that's another one that he's got wrong. It's weird, the kind of some of the the things that he's allowing to slide, and some of the decisions that he is making. Thankfully, at the minute, none of them are game changing, so to speak. But he's just having a pretty average night.
Jermaine, why hasn't Will Hughes had the effect in the second half that he had in the first?
I think Watford up until this point have been far too defensive and not really had the opportunity to get the ball into him. He's not a player that's going to go searching for the ball and win the ball back and make something happen, but if you can feed him, if you can give him service in dangerous areas, he will make things happen, and Watford have not done enough of that in this second half.
Richarlison slipped it wide to Delafeu's got away from Trippier, pulls it back, blocked inside his own penalty area and turned out by Dyer, who's well positioned, and Spurs clear with Trippier looping it down the line, took a deflection, drops into Horovas, to Capoue, who tried to head a 1-2 back to Holovas. Too tight to the line, A, to try it, and B, there's no way Holovas could have got to the return.
No, I mean, look, these next 25 minutes though are going to be interesting, because I think Watford now, with the players they've got on the pitch, they will give it a go. You know, from an attacking point of view, they have opened themselves for a lot more defensively, but you expect with players like Delafeu, Richarlison, Hughes and Deeney, that they can cause some problems going forward now.
Free kick goes Spurs' way this time. There's almost a plaintive, forlorn look on the face of the Watford manager, Javi Gracia, who's a decent midfielder in his time, defensive midfielder in his time, played over 430 games in that position, was a Spanish under 21 I think on one occasion, but he's struggling in English football as Watford does. Trippier with the free kick, curl towards the far stick, free header off the post, lovely header it was for Tottenham, rose at that far post, cut high, way above the Watford defenders, across the penalty area, across the 6-yard area it went, and thunk off the post.
I mean, I tell you what, I mean, it might have been a lot quicker than it seemed, but Harry Kane has missed one here. It's come I mean, Vertonghen is rose, it's a great header, it's going towards the far post, and you can see Harry Kane thinking, please come off the post. It does, it goes to hit it and it goes between his legs.
He looked anguished, didn't he? Hissed onto the dead ball line, and it's deflected away by Kabasele, or blocked by Kabasele and away for a corner kick.
Honestly, you know Jan Vertonghen, he was at the club when I was there. I've never seen a defender score more goals in training than Jan Vertonghen. Comes out with the ball, great left foot, used to smash him in the bottom corners, left, right and centre. He can't score for this team. I honestly, he can't. I have a laugh with him about it quite often.
He's
but
one goal in 2 years.
Yeah, it's not ideal for a player of his ability.
Here comes the corner kick though for Spurs. Trippier swings it away from goal. He was in there again, leaping forward at the centre half, but Watford can break from this. Here's Richarlison. Delafeu's gone ahead of him, he's over the halfway line, made a good run, right to left, and a lovely ball into the path of Deeney, who's got Hughes on the far side, turns, can he get the pass away, plays it to Richarlison, Spurs have cover back, and it's Vertonghen who's raced from penalty box to get it away.
It was brilliant. I mean, it was poor from Deeney, I have to say. When the ball gets played into from Delafeu, he has to just transfer that first time with his left foot away across to Will Hughes, who was stood there. They're talking about it now. I think Will Hughes is saying I was free, and he was. He's right, Will Hughes. He just didn't have the vision, or obviously he didn't feel that he had what it took on his left side to get it across to him first time.
Beyond the midway mark in the second half, in comes a throw for Watford into the Spurs penalty area. Drops out to Capoue. Left-hand touchline finds Holovas. Spurs leading by 2-0. Done well here, the fullback. The cross aimed to the far stick, hung into the air. It's dropped to the edge of the 6-yard area, and from 6 yards out, Richarlison has hit it 10 yards over.
I reckon if you put together a catalogue of his misses this season, it would be like one of those TV bloopers. He has had so many chances, and for somebody of his type of ability, this is a shocking miss. The cross towards the back post, great play from Holovas down the left hand side. Deeney does brilliantly to kind of nod it back into the 6-yard area, and Richarlison's just got to get his knee over that. It's an absolute sitter, slices it over the bar,
miles over the bar. It was a lovely cross from Holovas, really hung it up to the far post.
I mean, when I said that earlier about the chances he's missed, I mean, he gets into those positions, but this year he could be in double figures the amount of chances he's missed. I know that because a lot of my mates were using him in their fantasy team, and they lost their head with him eventually and said, no, you're coming out, because you can't keep missing all these chances for me.
And he turns 21 next month, Richarlison. It's well won back by Wanyama. Leaves it at the feet of Eriksson, who can play a bit. Christian Eriksen just dwelt on it too long, caught in two minds, and he was picked off by Capoue. And here's Hughes for Watford, not out of this yet. Decore plays a lovely ball through to Delafeu. Flag goes up against him. He's rounded the goalkeeper and touched it in. The Watford fans in the far left-hand corner of Wembley celebrate. The flag had gone up a long while before. It was tight, very tight.
Yeah, Watford say it's showing much better signs now, though. This team looked far more equipped to cause Tottenham problems. I don't know why he's made his run so early. You know, he had the beating. He got himself into a good position. Oh, I mean, it's tight, but he is offside.
Yeah. Good decision, wasn't it, by the assistant?
It is. I mean, we've got an unbelievable view up here, and I felt like he was offside, but for the linesman to call that on the run was, it was a tight call. Just needed to be more patient. Good finish, though. Cool finish.
Certainly looked offside from here at Wembley. I don't know what it looked like in Manchester. Maybe we'll find out a bit later on.
Bit difficult, I reckon. Bit difficult with all those people looking after him. Probably not the view of the television.
Ice cream sundaes,
manicures.
Dying out for Tottenham.
Yeah.
He's probably sitting there thinking, I wonder if they'll let this go. It's not going to happen, is it really?
Who are we talking about here now? I'm lost.
The superstar.
Oh, Chaffers. Oh yeah. I'm interested to hear about this beard oil, actually.
It's a goal kick for Watford.
It's a conversation I can't get involved in, but I'm interested to see it.
Goal kick to Watford away to the right hand side. They've looked promising in the last 5 minutes. Now, where was this Watford side in the first half? Where was this Watford side away from home so far this season? Decision angered Son that it was a goal kick given, but it did come off him last. And Watford looked for Richarlison, left-hand touchline, cuts the ball then back into his own half. Capoue pressurised by Dele Alli. The Spurs fans find their voices. Richarlison sends it through to Delafeu on the edge of the penalty area. Lloris had to come out and scramble it away to Vertonghen. Hughes was after him. Good pressure here by Watford. Decore on the shoulder of Wanyama, who takes a touch and then finds the right-hand touchline. Trippier down the line to Dele Alli. Floats a lovely ball in. Look at Vertonghen. He's raced 80 yards. He's for Harry Kane and he's offside. He won't count. But what a run by Jan Vertonghen.
That was brilliant. And in terms of the play from Jan Vertonghen as well. I mean, I'd be surprised if Harry's managed to get himself offside in that position. It's poor from him because he's looking right down the line. The run from Vertonghen from centre half to centre forward, by the way, plucks it out of the air. He's right along the line, Harry Kane. Oh yeah, again, it's exactly like Delafeu's. I mean, he's inches offside. He shouldn't have even given the linesman that opportunity, though. He's looking right across it, slots it in. Jan Vertonghen's been absolutely sensational tonight, though, in what has been an average performance at times. He's been a standout performer as usual.
Another good decision by the assistant, it was, though. Another change here for Spurs. Son has gone off and Moussa Sissoko has come on. He's missed just 6 league games this season. A lot of cameo roles from the bench for the French international. And Watford have a problem here because Richarlison, and Spurs do as well, Richarlison and Trippier head clash, and they've gone down just inside the Watford half, the Spurs half I should say, just down below us. And Trippier in particular looks in real distress. I haven't seen him move.
No, he's up now. He's up. He's looking at his head. Well, he's looking at his head. He's got his hand on his head trying to see if there's blood. That's what I meant to say.
Richarlison is on his side being tended by those 2 physiotherapists out there, and Spurs come in a little huddle to talk to Mauricio Pochettino. Left hand tucked into his pocket. There's a close-up of the Watford manager as well. Do you think he's done enough to be there next season? Watford change their managers so often, of course.
I'd be surprised. I'm not sure he has. I feel like they've gone backwards, Watford, this year. I said it earlier on, when I look at the individuals they've got on display, they're much better than they are as a team, which tells me he's getting something wrong. And their results, this run that they've been going on, isn't going to help his cause to stay in his position. We know that they've got this kind of volatile model of the way they like to do things. Looks like they're going to make a change as well. I think Carrillo looks like he's going to be coming on for Richarlison, who looks like he's still in a bad way.
Trippier is okay. He's gone in to sportingly to see if Richarlison's okay. Business model for model, changing managers, changing players, 75 player turnover in 2.5-3 years.
It's how they do things though, Jonathan, and if it works for them, then I don't think they should be criticised for it. They're a club of medium size. They do it their way. They've got a huge support system with the clubs that they're associated with, and they're also kind of promoting a lot of managers across Europe into the Premier League. I just think this season they've been off it a little bit. We saw improvement at times last year, I thought, but I do fear for his position a little bit.
And early this season as well, was sort of in charge when they were fourth. This is good because Richarlison's okay. He's on his feet. A little pat on the shoulder by Kieran Trippier. A little hug from the Spurs football full-back there as well. And it was a really nasty old one. Sorry, heads.
I meant this season, earlier on this season, with Marco Silva was there. We saw that immediate change, didn't we? Until obviously it went downhill.
It was the Everton thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And it seemed to fall apart from them. But they've got a good. I think they've got a good squad. They get underestimated. I think they've just underachieved this year.
I know they feel very aggrieved about that whole Everton situation.
I think they should as well, really, because I suppose when you look at it now, it's had an impact on their season. They were flying at the point. Everything was smooth, and the players obviously lost faith in their manager somewhere along the line.
And it's 3 of the last 5 games he was there. They only won the one against Bristol City. It's another clash here. And Watford have another player on the deck, stamping his foot in pain. He's Etienne Capoe's down, and now he's okay. He's rolled onto his side, slaps his hand down on the turf again in pain. Now he's up, hands on his knees. He'll be okay. I think it's going to be a free kick. Watford trailing by 2-0. We've got 13 minutes to go on 5 Live. Arced into the penalty area here from Holebas, the forward. Comes out of Hughes, catches it on the volley. And you can hear the cheers from the Spurs fans as it sails away out towards the left-hand touchline. Delafeo has tried to keep it in play, and the referee says it bobbled away. Trippier just puts his hand to his forehead again, maybe still feeling that bump a moment ago. Throw in Spurs.
Yeah, it's an important 5 or 10 minutes coming up for Spurs now. I know we're in the 78th minute. There's going to be plenty of time added on. After the clash of heads, they need to kind of take the sting out of this game, I feel. Watford are going to try and throw everything at them. It's important they don't even concede one to give them an ounce of hope.
They're 5 points clear of Chelsea, who I think will have to win all 3 of their remaining games to get into the top 4. Liverpool at home, Huddersfield at home, and Newcastle away. Entirely feasible that they can do that, and then Liverpool might be sweating. But this is a big one for Spurs here after the FA Cup semi-final defeat. And with the 3 games they have to come, Newcastle and Leicester here, and West Bromwich Albion away up first, you'd really put money now on Spurs getting into the Champions League again, which I think they deserve to on the whole season.
But I mean, you could add Brighton to that, you could add Manchester City to those performances, the semi-final. It's been a tough month really for the club, and so I think this one for Maurizio, if he can get his team over the line, will make him feel a lot more comfortable.
Here's Vertonghen scuttling across the line to edge it away, and if there are doubts about commitment levels for Alderweireld, who's out with it on the cold and departing this summer, we believe, no doubt about Vertonghen's commitment tonight. Goodness me,
he's had an unbelievable season, which is why he was in the team of the year. I spoke to him about it. He said he feels stronger than he's ever felt, feels fit, feels good, and I think that's obviously had a knock-on effect of his performances.
Holebas with a long throw, almost reaches the middle of the Tottenham goal, headed back out wide to the left-hand side. Holebas is there again to take on Trippier. Did well, switch feet, left foot cross into the middle, headed away by Wanyama. Harry Kane got there first, held it up back to Wanyama, who stabbed a poor ball away to Decore, but the referee quite rightly here spotted the earlier foul on Harry Kane, is given a free kick for Spurs.
Yeah, it was a good decision. He was being fouled, Harry Kane. Just brought the play back.
I'll be back here on Saturday for the Women's FA Cup final, Arsenal against Chelsea. It's a game you can see live on BBC One at 5:30. I think it's BBC One. Phone up the controller, BBC. You've got it in your contact book, haven't you? I think it is.
You've
anyway.
called it. It's on.
That's a big occasion. Will the Women's FA Cup final be at Wembley if there's new owners from the United States of America? Will the trophy be here? Will the playoffs for the lower league clubs be here? I hope so. I hope that's written into any sort of deal.
Yeah, you definitely hope that those types of moments are not going to be taken away from the history books.
Magical moments, aren't they?
Correct.
Cathcart stoops, centre circle, heads forward for Watford, attacking the goal away to our left-hand side. The old tunnel end of Wembley. It's a poor ball out there by Mariappa, and Spurs can counter. Dele Alli lengthening his stride, left-hand side, 2 yards in from that left-hand touchline. Switches back to his right foot, prods it into Wanyama, arriving late. Wanyama still arriving in time though to get the ball under control and find Ben Davies on that left-hand touchline. Such a steady left-back. Spurs are going to bring on Lamela, it would seem, for the closing stages. They have possession with Davis and Sanchez. Few groans around because Spurs haven't moved the ball as quickly as they might have. And as it comes out to Trippier, he's let it slip away from him, and it's gone out of play for a throw. And they're going to make a substitution here, Spurs. Dele Alli is going to go off. I don't think Trippier looks right to me since his head clash, but anyway, he's staying on, and it's going to be Dele Alli who departs with a standing ovation.
Yeah, he's had a good game, Dele, actually. Got cool, calm and composed on the ball. Took his goal well. He shakes the referee's hand as he leaves the pitch. Yeah, I think he should be happy with his night's work.
On comes Eric Lamela, who played just 4 minutes of the FA Cup semi-final. The Women's FA Cup final is on BBC One and 5 Live, 5:10 on BBC One, 5:15 on 5 Live. George, you've got really straight through to the control of BBC, the top man. That's fantastic. Yeah. Well done.
What'd you say? I'm with JJ.
There you are, a man with big connections. We should know him. We should go out dancing with him.
It must have been Chappers. I don't believe it was George. There's no way George has got his contacts.
Holivas, right foot clears into the Spurs half. It's headed away by Vertonghen. 2-0 the Spurs lead, and it's going to be a free kick. Jumped into there was Decore by Lamela. Now there's one with a questionable future. I know he was out for such a long time, Eric Lamela, wasn't he, with the injury from October through 16 through to November 17, but will he be here in the future as Hughes sits in the dugout now for Watford, and that's a strange substitution. He's gone off for them. Here's Decore spinning, taking it back inside his own half, under control, long leggy midfielder out wide towards Mariappa on the far side. Watford playing in a triangle again. Mariappa cuts it back to Cathcart, right foot driven crossfield ball is given Capoue far too much to do, and Watford frustrations grow, and Spurs take the throw in very quickly, too quickly really. It's raced away from Ericsson, and scuttling across to get the interception was Christian Capoue.
Yeah, it was a big chance as well. He just put too much on it. Kieran Trippier the throw in, and Capoue read the situation, but he was in Ericsson, and inevitably usually picks out his man, so it was a big opportunity he missed.
Throw in right hand side, Spurs take it. Trippier into Ericsson, back to goal, opens things up with a crossfield sweat ball, left foot imperiously away to Davis on that far side. Davis looks back into his own half. There's Vertonghen being pressurised by Delafeu, who's got some pace, and he looks really fit in his return. This is his first game since January. Former Spanish under-21 captain, was at Everton of course, but Barcelona had that release clause to take him back there. Good interchange for Spurs on the left hand side. Lamela lengthens his stride, runs straight into a Watford player. It's Cathcart who bring it away to the halfway line. Decore. Can Watford get something in the game? Can they end this horrible drought without an away goal? It's 720 odd minutes now. They have it on the left hand side, just down below us, just a yard inside the left touchline. Holivas forward then towards Richarlison. Back it comes to the left back, swaps passes right down below us again, and they have the ball under control. Cabaselli into Decore. They got a little bit lucky actually in the end. Watford, it bounced off Wanyama. Mariappa to that left hand side. What can Watford do? Decore breaking into between the lines, picks up possession 25 yards away from the Spurs penalty area. It's rolled out then to the left touchline by Holivas. Finds Richarlison, little stab ball to Dini on the edge of the penalty area, left hand corner of the box. Back it comes, not a good ball, and Wanyama will clear it away now, and he's fouled actually, and it's going to be a free kick for Spurs. Carrillo is the man who's come on for Will Hughes, by the way. I forgot to mention that for you. Apologies for that. So, what do you make of Watford's performance overall?
It's not good enough, to be honest with you. I keep saying they've got better individuals than they are as a side. I don't feel like they tap into how creative I think they can be anywhere enough. They don't test the opposition anywhere enough. They're not as clinical as they need to be when they do get their chances. It's all very off the cuff, and they seem at the minute to be a team that just accept what they are, and that's not good. It's we'll go goal down. Yeah, that's just who we are. That we get beat. No, they're better individuals than that, and he needs to somehow get them together and playing as a unit, cut the mistakes out, because there is a good side here.
Lamela, strong run for Spurs, straight at the heart of the Watford territory. Then he turns back. He's turned around 360 degrees. Now has it back again. Central field area, takes the return ball in from the right side of midfield, Sissoko to Wanyama. This is walking pace here for Spurs, and Spurs fans really want them to go for the throat and win the game 3. Here's Harry Kane rolling in from the left-hand touchline, and he balloons a shot over. That smacked of a little bit of frustration.
Yeah, no surprise that he has a shot. Spurs just doing everything they possibly can now just to get this game finished. I mean, Lamela was brilliant with the run that he went on, but for the first time out of the whole game, and I think we can forgive him after the clash of heads. Kieran Trippier wasn't available down this right hand side, so we had to do a little pirouette in the middle of the park. But it's been a better performance from Spurs in the second half. It looks like they're going to get the job done, but Watford not really offered a big enough challenge. What has been not the best Spurs display, I suppose, of the season. Well
done to Jody Morris, the Chelsea youth team coach, and his youngsters there. They've beaten Arsenal 4-0, second leg of the FA Youth Cup final, to win it 7-1 on aggregate. That's their 5th win in a row in that competition. That's staggering stuff.
7.
I think Watford would be absolutely staggered if they go. They're 6 points clear of the bottom 3. Southampton have 3 games to go. But of course Southampton have to play Swansea. They both can't get 3 points from that game. So Watford, I think, will be staying up, but they need improvement for next season. They're on a downward trend. Here's Lamela racing into the Watford penalty area, squeezed out in the end. Or a lovely turn by him. We know he's got bundles of skill. If he can keep fit, he'd be an asset, that's for sure. Takes it to the left touchline, the Watford left, and rolls it out of play under good pressure. He thought he kept it in. He glowers at the assistant referee, but it's a throw with 2 minutes to go. Spurs lead 2-0.
Yeah, it was good defending from Holebas. I think Lamela's asking for a foul. It was strong pressure from Holebas, but I don't think he overstepped the mark at all.
Watford have possession deep inside their own half, left-hand touch, and Holebas chips towards Capu, back to his own penalty area, where it's lifted away then by Kabasele up towards Deeney, heads it on. They didn't have that sort of character in the first half. First half of football was decent, second half's been a bit scratchy, a bit patchy. Here's Wanyama in towards Sissoko. Spurs don't seem to really want to go for the throat, to be honest. At 2-0 up, Trippier has it on the right side. They're playing keep ball into Lamela. Back it goes then to Davison Sanchez. To his left is Vertonghen, who's been excellent. And finally they come forward with Wanyama dropping into the feet of Harry Kane, inside left position, rolls forward, lovely ball into Sissoko, edge of the penalty area, lifted it over, should have scored. Was hesitant when it came into him.
He just never looked comfortable at any stage. When this ball comes into him, do you think this is going to hit the back of the net? It's a good run from him in his defence, and the touch is okay. The ball from Harry Kane is right on the money. You just wish it was the other way around, because that Harry Kane knows how to finish. Sissoko gets into this position. He just freezes a little bit. I mean, the touch is out of his feet, and even the strikes just doesn't. It was always going up. It's a shame. It was a good run from him.
Hero when he scored against West Ham for Spurs in that bitter London derby back in October, but villain of the piece there. Jury very much out on Moussa Sissoko as a Spurs fan. Fans would tell you. 6 minutes of stoppage time is that down there?
Yeah, I mean, he had the collision with the heads. I think a couple of substitutions. Not a surprise to me, that.
That's a good ball forward to the edge of the Spurs penalty area, right hand side, Doucouré. Back it goes then to Carrillo. Little flighty run into the penalty area, back to his left foot. A shot deflected away. Richardson's got a job to keep it in on the left hand touchline now. but it deflected off a Spurs player. He knew that. It's a throw to Watford. He wants movement. Deeney coming close towards it. Davinson Sanchez was behind him and buffeted into him, actually. It would have been interesting to have the throw come in earlier.
I think there was a bit of both there. There always is with Deeney.
Pushing and shoving going on between the two of them. It's cleared away now by Spurs. Up towards Harry Kane. Good tussle that between he and Kabasele. And Watford get the better of it. And Capoue finds the right hand side, and Mariappa back to Cathcart, tight into Capoue. Little triangle again by Watford. There are promising signs around the pitch for them from time to time, and that's a big looping cross by Mariappa to the edge of the Spurs penalty area. Trippier heads it away as far as Deeney, and over it goes.
He's definitely capable, Deeney. It's a long ball into the box, and Trippier does actually really well, because Doucouré was making life difficult for him, but he nods it down into an attacking position. And Deeney is very good at volleying the ball from those types of areas. Takes it on the chest, hits it first time, just couldn't get it up and down in time.
Picked up a foot injury against Crystal Palace. The manager said he hoped he'd be fit enough to play, but he can't have been fully fit, because I don't think you come to Tottenham as a Watford side and not pick Troy Deeney.
Well, not when you've got strikers that are not hitting the back of the net. What was it without a goal, you said?
Gray, 2 in 16, well, without a goal in all. They hadn't scored before tonight away in 638 minutes.
Which is just, you're crying out for a goal scorer, and at their club he's their talisman when it comes to goals, so you'd put your hat on him. So obviously he wasn't 100%.
727 minutes now without an away goal since January. Oh, lovely flick by Eriksson just below us on the halfway line to Sissoko. Back to Eric Dyer, sees the run of Eriksson, right hand side, drops his shoulder, goes left and plays a very optimistic Hollywood ball away to the left hand touchline to Lamela, and the option was down the right. Surely it's a throw to Watford.
Yeah, that was the game in a nutshell, I think. There's been little special nuggets in there of play, the balls through from Dele Alli for the goals, and little tricks and flicks all over the place, but then it's just not had that consistency or that what you expect from Spurs. Just the simple things, passing the ball to each other, has just been a bit lax today, I would say.
Meandering end to the season for Tottenham. End of season feeling about Wembley Stadium. There are thousands of empty seats now, absolutely thousands of them all around us. Watford 2-0 down, can't save the game according to many Spurs fans who've gone. Watford fans are still there, look, in that far left hand corner from us, with a bit of hope, but that's offside against Richarlison, trying to beat the rush to the trains and the tubes away from Wembley Stadium here in North London. And I would think primarily, if the sale goes through to the US owners, this will be an NFL stadium within a matter of years. Already NFL football is played here, but if all the reports are right, this will be home of a permanent NFL side, and I would imagine that would be the plan. Don't know for sure. We just hope that the smaller association football clubs can have their dream of coming to Wembley Stadium. It's not the Wembley that I grew up with, not with the Twin Towers and the walk up Wembley Way and the smell of hot dogs, but it's still the home of the beautiful game. It's Watford in possession. Doucouré, his passing has been far from the beautiful game. Capoue, foot on the ball, halfway line, nudges it back to Christian Kabasele. Good to see him back in the Watford side after that long period away, 3 months out with a hamstring injury. And they've got promise here. In it comes towards Delafeu, dances away from Dyer, pushes it out wide towards the right hand side. Can they get the crossing from Carrillo? To the right corner of the penalty area, he finds Delafeu. Bright red boots, drops his shoulder. In front of him is Wanyama. To the edge of the penalty, it comes back again. Correa with a darting run into the box and forces a save out of Hugo Lloris. Back into the middle it goes again, this time from Delafeu. Didn't catch it properly. Lloris can drop on the ball.
Yeah, that's a brilliant play, that is, from Correa and Gerard Delafeu, showing their confidence on the ball down that right hand side, facing players up, going by them at will. It was Carrillo in the end who decided, actually, I'm going to have a go. Drives through the heart of Wanyama and Ben Davies. Good strike. And the reason fair to him, he stood up tonight off the back of what I would say have been some under par performances. When called upon tonight, he's got the job done. There's some vital saves at vital times.
From Gray in the first half, that was a big miss for Watford. It's a super save from Richarlison after that, and there from Correa. Excuse me. Going to be a throw to Spurs on the left hand side. Different world, radio and TV. We have people who cough for us, you see. Now it's got to be a clearance away from the Watford goalkeeper Karnesis. Deep inside Spurs territory. Enjoyed it again working on 5 Live. Really always do. Back in the world of radio, great stuff. And it's going to be a Trippier for Tottenham in towards the centre circle, and edged forward then by Sissoko, and there's a foul on Lamela. Tinkerpoo was all over him, shook his hand. Lamela looked a little bit truculent about it all. Game's won and lost. No need to get all aerated at this stage. We're into the last seconds of the 6 minutes of stoppage time. In fact, it's all over. And Spurs have opened a 5-point lead on Chelsea again then in the race for a Champions League place next season. Watford still not mathematically safe. We think they'll be okay. Beaten here by Dele Alli's goal after a quarter of an hour, and Harry Kane's a couple of minutes into the second half. 2-0 Spurs.